I want to see if I get a copyright infringement running from the Library of Congress on two large condenser microphones. Government music from the Library of Congress. See if I can trigger the robots. Copyright bots are coming after me. Hey, easy on the piano, buddy. Hey, we just tuned that fucking piano, mister. Step away from the piano. He's gonna go right into fucking Rhapsody in Blue there for a second. That would have been fucking exquisite. I'm on the Mobius Trader, which is being sued by MT4. They sent them a cease and desist order. Mobius 7. So I'm running a pure pending system. Pure pending, testing a pendings only system. Limits only in the grid style. So we've been getting a lot of complaints about the limit grids not making enough money, how to use them, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to do a review of the limit scripts and give it a looky poo, as they say. Apparently I triggered this Fox Day guy. I called him a retard, and this guy responds to me, and I'm like, really? So I unsubscribed from him before that happened, because these people are talking about that we didn't land on the fucking moon. Would you shut the fuck up? You're wasting fucking valuable digital space with your bullshit. Tell us something we need to know, like how to fucking make money in the markets. People bragging about their fucking IQ. Give me a fucking break. What a putz fuck. I was going to change topics on my channel and blast the guy, but this is ridiculous. Who are these people? I don't know if I got my audio working, but according to my tablet it works, but I don't even trust that anymore. Anyways, I don't know, it's on a severe lag coming back into my but apparently it's the same kind of beatless symphony music I'm used to hearing. Anyways, Mobius 7 being sued by MT4. Now, if they called it MT7, I could understand, but they didn't. So here's my limit entry system based on time expiration being the one factor is time expiration. The next is going to be coverage area. The next is going to be the ratios. And then the order placement, and then how many layers you put in, and can you make money from a set and forget it system? I believe you can, because you can see all the holes in the market already at a time. Now, some things are designed for like a scalp, and some are designed for a swing. The wide stops are going to be swings, tight stops, scalps. And there's only one entry styles limit. So you're looking for the market to come into an area and then retrace from there at key levels that you know are hot spots, because you're caving into maybe a yearly or a monthly or a 18-year area, and there's going to be a big battle there, and you can have your scalps. Now you'd have to refresh your scalps though, and you have a button to refresh them every 15 minutes on a tablet. So that's what I'm running now, is just a tablet all the time, because I can't rely on the keyboard because I can only get 10 scripts running, 10 hotkeys. So I've had to rename the scripts so they show up on the tablet better, and I can scroll down, and I can swipe and go to the next, so I can drop in orders. Because the problem with the trading is that if you see an opportunity and you don't have a trade plan to launch for it, whether it's to buy 8 pips deep on a limit because you see that's it going up and you want to get onto some type of early entry, you know, that being the if you're gonna try to hop on a train. Otherwise, if the train's left the station, you're basically trying to get your limits to the next train station and trade on reversals, which this guy at no nonsense Forex or something trading is talking about getting in, not trying to trade the reversal. Well, anytime you get into any trend, you want to get you're getting in some type of, hopefully you're getting in at the turning point of whatever time frame you can afford, based on the spread and stuff. Well, you get too close to the spread, you're picking a fly shit out of pepper, I think they say. What am I in the fucking 5-minute chart here? So the daily euro has dropped, or the British pound dropped into this hole, and I don't know if it ended up on the stream that didn't have audio last time, but I was talking about putting limits in there, swing trades, for a total retracement from unfair value coming back in. And so I'm just not having a good run at this. Streaming's not showing up on my thing. I think they overloaded the internet. Okay, well, sound finally works out. Yeah, sorry about the sound issue. I feel like a complete... here I'm getting pissed off at this people talking about they didn't land on the moon, and here I can't even fucking get audio going, so who the fuck am I? So the... it goes like this, as far as, say, and I just wrote a script that, well, it's had this for about a year now, about 2 years, a script, and I just made it a weekly. So in the order bank, I put it down, it should show up at the bottom here, and these are long-lasting, actually, maybe not. Okay, we're just going to go with ones that last 12 hours. As I just rewrote the name of it and compiled it. Should show up at the bottom here. Sometimes you gotta compile it twice. I don't know why. So this is supposed to be, and I'm making some money in this account, but I'm trying to stay strictly limit on this account. Everything I placed on here is a limit off of this script bank. So I'm trying to make a proof. People always say, well, prove it works. Prove buy low, sell high works. Now, for the most part, everything in here is almost a buy, except I do have a couple sells in here. And to see how good you are, if you make the comment inside of here, be an exact description of that script. Once you get done writing all the scripts you like, you name them so you can see the names come up. And you can see if you're good at selling and buying. How many times you win on a sell. How can you perceive a void above you that looks like retracement territory, because that's the only way you really make money on a limit entry like this, is in a swing, a giant swing, or you're looking to jump on the trend with a shallow limit, but that's where you hand place it. In other words, if you're trying to buy a pullback on the weeklies, you're going to put in 100 pip deep water banks that last all fucking week, and you're just waiting for the animal to come into your traps. I mean, you're just a trapper. You're not a sniper at that point. You know, the view of limit entry. And these giant spanned orders. So now the market's closing, and I want to put some in that'll be there on Sunday, because if I put them in there for a day, they'll actually delete tomorrow. Or put a bit for, so I'm trying to rewrite them as a weekly. And apparently I just did it, but here it is. I compile it fucking twice. So since this is such a long-lasting script, I'm going to start off with the time is the most critical thing. Actually, it is here too. Sorry. But the time is critical. How long does it last? Because if it's going to be, I thought I was streaming last night, but I'll just repeat everything I said last night, I suppose, if I remember what I said. But there's the fork in the road is, how much exposure do you want to the market over time? How much punishment are you willing to tolerate? And so, in the not knowing if you're going to get filled or if it's even going to retrace after they fill. It may just keep cascading down, and you're going to blow out that order bank. And that's why you would never want to try to make a living on limits alone, because if you perceive that the market's going into a flag pattern, and I would say 80% of the time, if the market just went up hard and flags out, it's probably got one more price pulse left in it. And this will be the trend trader's trade. Other than that, it's going to fucking turn on a dime and go the other way. It's just, that's all there is to it. The market's either going sideways, up, or down. There's only three fucking... And so how can you tactically get into these things? Well, if you wait for the market to come to you, the limits are the ultimate. If you're looking for the market to go through you and pick you up on a stop, you're asking for it to blast through you with such momentum that you can scalp something off the top. So if it's a fake out and it comes back and it blows out the other side of your orders, at least you've made something. So always trying to peel. Now, if your broker's going to give you a half a pip spread with commissions, or half to zero, and your script's aware of the spread in terms of when that spread goes to zero, your limits are, of course, letting you trade inside the spread now, but you're literally going to get filled. Maybe you could have an EA that, I don't know, holds back the script until it sees a spread of zero. And if you're on a fast enough server, right, you're going to get, this is what people, I think, mistake high frequency trading. It's just like, who can get to the floor first, right? But how would that matter if you're just trading a 10K? I can understand if you're in $1 billion trade, that if you can slice something off the top coming in, but you can make that up. And I mean, I just don't know how that matter, especially if you're swing trading. My God, if you have a 150 pip stop, the spread could be 10, and you wouldn't give a fuck at that point. I mean, metrically speaking, you know, well, who cares, right? You get to trade insane currencies like the guppy with a 100 pip stop. But you have to do that with a 1K, because you're going to put 10 of those in, and now you're 10K. Now you're risking real money. You start to get into like, okay, blow the account up. So I started this account with $5,000. Everything I've run in here, but I did put some hand dropped buy drops in, but I put them in as limits, because these will actually be, if I put one of these above, it'd be a stop, and that would fuck up the test, so to speak. So I'm going to just stay away from the stops. So I'm trying to stick to these limits. because beginning compliance, you know. Now, at the top of the rack, we have the 1 hour kind of scalp orientated. This is a 3-pip range of 4K, risking 8 pips to make 12, which is, I put a real number for I made this a break even. So this is when I was at the fork in the road naming the script. I said, well, you know, I can make these numbers add up, but here I actually put in the cost of the trade, because I said, you know, risk 8 pips stop to make 12 is after commissions and shit's going to be 5. It's break even. And this one I made a realistic number, but then I couldn't do the math anymore. I gave up and I started to make it, okay, well, this is going to be fake. Now, this is the controversial wide stop and tight take profit, which I do think makes more money if you place it in the right place, because you're saying to the market, I know where you're going to turn around. We all know where the market's going to turn around. The question is, do we have the order there, or are we babysitting, waiting for the market to come to that and watch it happen so we can say, oh yeah, I had to make sure it was going to happen before I got in. I mean, what's the difference? If you can perceive a Fibonacci handle, why don't you have it pending there? You don't see anybody ever do that. I've never seen a guy on a Fibonacci. Show me the guy that's throwing a limit right there, right mouse click. Put one here. No brainer. No. People watch the market fucking come to that level, and they're like, yeah, they're in my zone. Wait, I'm waiting for a fucking hammer. I'm waiting for a different. Oh, dude, no, wait. Oh, geez, I mean, Christ, just put a fucking bunch of orders down there. Then you got to come in and put in separate stops and take profits, right? It's a bunch of fucking work. Well, this is set and forget it trading here. I mean, I could set the whole order plan. I could run all the weeklies coming into right now and just walk away and come back next Friday. You don't have to, and I'm not going to make the same kind of money that somebody that is sitting there with a tick chart going, oh yeah, this is a fucking short-term bottom on I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, and that guy's trading like really big on each button press. But I can set up those orders, because when the market gets to that price, we all know what's going to happen. There's going to be a battle, and there's going to be a drift. We always know the market's going to go sideways, and it's going to go slamming up or slamming down, or drifting up, drifting down. And how many times have we seen a retracement? Market gets overextended, gets in where nobody's coming in on that side of the market, or it's just, you know, order imbalance, I guess, really. It just comes back. So this is the what solves that problem. So the 1 hour scripts, I can put these closer when I drop. So here I'd buy right here. Into the close, I want to buy for the next hour. Now, if this is the daily chart. If I put a buy limit here that lasts an hour, there's no fucking way they're going to fill that. So that is a low probability of fill and a low probability of making any money, because first you got to get filled before you make or lose money. So all these pendings. So realistically, if I go to the 4 hour chart, now I think I put my limits in here before, and I'm long on this trade because, and I might have put it in the bad ratios here too. That I didn't keep track of that, I must say. It's very like it's a lot of work to trade a demo account. You're not getting paid. They're not even able to participate in a real transaction. I mean, as far as making money, but you're just giving yourself confidence to understand that, yes, if I place an order down here on the British pound, which I did coming into this week, this whole area here, I'm up on every ticket if I held through that move. I'm up on every ticket, right? Yeah, I know. I was talking about that last night when I was streaming, but it wasn't going out. is that, you know, you can, so if you wanted to do something like this where you have one of these, I guess it's a good thing I didn't broadcast last night. If you have a harebrained idea that there's a channel here, you know, and you don't want to babysit this thing, and you're pretty certain that if the market ever makes it back to, so, you know, this is what I was saying last night in the video. Here is a failed, you know, in a way, it's a completion of a, I'm just speaking closing prices only, a price pulse. And you can see the, this situation here, right? This is what people make a typical price pulse projection, which this is dead on, closing prices only. So here's your parallelogram, right? And so this is what kind of what these people are trying to do with that Gartley. I think they missed the point. The RSI guy showed me this trick, but it goes through that. It's not like I could buy there. So we see that kind of, it makes a move, it pauses, and makes one more pulse. And then this velocity, I mean, people make the argument, well, see, it moved like this. Yeah, but it did at the end, but don't forget this brutal exception here, that I can't say this stuff ever mirrors on. I mean, I can make this argument. This is what people would consider a geometric technical analysis, I suppose, but this thing always comes in such a giant color. But, you know, you're taking this measured move, and the RSI guy is saying that here is going to be, this is your shoulder, and so you know this price exists, and when you come to this turning point here, this is where RSI is going to be more overbought, but the price is lower, so it's the inversion. And here too, but now this doesn't come to the channel perfectly, and so you'd say, well, that channel trading sucks dick because it should have come back to here. I didn't sell, I didn't get filled. I said last night that didn't go on the thing, but you're looking for time structure, top become bottom, and the price structure vertically is more important than the this geometric projections, like this this relationship here in the price pulse, because here's the same. So here's what I was talking about. You close up, you get a flag, one more price pulse, total reversal. We've seen moves like this in Forex. 2 days up hard, 1 day pause. Here comes the trend traders. It's fucking over. It's over. That trade's done. And here's your structure. Your bottom becomes a top in time only, not on wicks. It's a daily chart. Here's your top bottom failure. So here's where there's the attempted engulf where you could just come smashing. No, trap them. Then here's the ultimate bottom, and here we would scalped out. So we would have got in here. We would have bought everything to here. Plan on taking something off the table on the way back to the obvious target. Sellers come in. Can they keep pulling this thing down? So next week, the dumbest trade is to put buy limits in here that have even shitty ratios, because your probability of making money is way extended if you layer them in, if there's enough money in the account. Now here, I'm not even going to get out of this winning trade. I'm up a whole 23 bucks. I'm up a whole $20. I was down this morning about 60 bucks on this account. So I'll publish this account. This account has made it back. I just have to be careful not to pull the trigger at the market because I'm going pure limits. Yeah, well, 80% of the market's ranging, so 80% of the market's fake breakout. It's as simple as that. 80% of the market is a trap trade. Very rarely does the market take off and run. And so, maybe 80% is extreme, but maybe 70%. I'd say if you look at these charts, from here, I would say from here to here is an extensive bunch of bullshit. It's not going up or down. It's kind of going down. But from a breakout standpoint, it's just trapping people. That's a 50 pip grid, and people are looking to make 300 pips. Like they're looking for this move. People want to trade. Who doesn't want to get on this fucking thing here in the trap, in the larger trap, the fractal of that trap? So if you're looking for traps on the monthly, you're going to have to wait a long time. But and you have to take a lot of punishment. So if you were to buy from here, you have to absorb 200 pips of. It's a great trade because you're going to make so much more money in this trade. This is why you have to trade completely counterintuitively and put in stops down here. So as you buy into this, the whole thing you get into here, it's like being an options trader. You're taking the other side. If you cashed out conservatively of everything here, they never stopped you out. You were underwater, but you knew that going in. So, you were like, oh yeah, and look at if you held on to that. Look how the thing comes flying back all the way to this floor on the clock. This thing, amazing. But yeah, the track's already laid. Buy stops are stacking up here for the bears right now. You could just, I would buy at the market at the end of today and put limits down here. I'm not going to put a buy stop like a fucking idiot up here because that's going to be a trap on the 4 hour. I don't want to spend 8 hours trapped in some dumb shit trade because I put my order. So which fractal are you going to trade? Well, 15-minute chart. If you're going to pull the trigger every half hour, the market's down. So, but relationship to where you're at in the vacuum, you can't just trade the market because you want to get into a trade, because the logical thing to do is say, is there okay, so when you go to press the buy button, you have to know that at that moment you're not getting a good price. There's no way, because the market is probably going to drop at least 3.5 more pips over the next hour. If you want to be in the trade for a week, then I guarantee you in the next hour it'll be a slightly better price. And if you're really going to do that trade, well, I guess you're not going to be in very big, right? If you're going to try to hold the thing for 5 days. Otherwise, it's going to start to sag on the account. But if you have other trades working in the background here, which I do, I have other drops I did. I'm just doing the major currencies, but yeah, this will work. You just have to. I'm going to write these as weekly. I have weekly scripts in here, and I'll have dailies because I don't want to sit here and babysit this demo. But getting the right scenario time-wise. So obviously, the short scripts are going to be when the market's news is about to come out, or you're going to go somewhere for 3 hours and you just kind of want to, in case there's some fucking crazy, the news is going to come out. You're not going to be there for the news. You got some better things to do. So you put in a script that lasts, you could, because they won't let you put a 5-minute script, you could kind of cheat and just, 10 minutes before the news comes out, put a 15-minute script in. Some fucking insane bank of orders, right? That they'll only last for 5 minutes once the news comes out. Because you don't want them to last any longer, because some of these moves, when the news comes out, the market's it's ripping up and down. You want to cash out of that whole scenario from a limit entry standpoint and be out. And then whatever happens after that, you don't give a fuck. You made your money, you're out. It's not like you're going to try to go the other way in reverse, although you could with a same sell bank in there that lasts 15 minutes. I mean, it's an experiment that I haven't done, but I know that if you think about it, it makes sense. So obviously, I mean, I make money doing it. I'm not tracking. I'm trading at the market and limits, so I can't do a purist test, but this will be that. So last night I was looking at the pound and I said it's going to probably melt down, you know. So I did put some limits in that. I might have got stopped out. I said, because put some scalps in there. Which there's 8 pips to make 16 pips here. So look at this order here. Now this, say the news is going to come out. And so let's look at something more realistic. 8-hour script, right? Because you're going to try to go to sleep, right, at some point. And so you put an 8-hour order in there. And maybe when you just wake up, or maybe you don't sleep, maybe you just watch it get filled, and maybe that's all the drama you need in life is watching your orders get filled. But let's go to the I'll go to the 12-hour script, even though market's not going to be open anymore. But the swing trade. So I rewrote this one for the weekly, and the bad ratios too. So I want to save a weekly version of the bad ratio, because if you put it in the right spot, now here's risk 80 pips make 40. It's a 5K spread across 40 pips logarithmically, so it's more of a martingale entry. You're risking $40 to make 20, but it's more like probably 45 to make 15. Trying to make it the worst case scenario. And the break even. So this is worse than break even in essence. And this one I would also make a long-term version of that. And so just by adjusting the stop, now here is I'd say a break even. Risk 30 to make 40, 60 pip stop. That's quite a tremendous swing trade. So if I put it down here, starting at new lows, and I got to fix the scale on here so you can see what it looks like. But so down, I could put a ton of orders on this broker. If I'm going to buy and my exit's going to be above me, then I'm going to drop it down here. And I think that's too far away. It's not going to work. Here, like this. Oh, fuck, that's not where I want to get in. And so I can come in, and if I see too much duplication, or I think it looks like they're clustered too tight together, as far as the entry goes, the exits would be like, so if I had linear entry and some logarithmic entries, then I have a staggered thing. I can take this closed ticket and drop it right on where I think there's just too many tickets, and kind of cut this back. So this is like you're going to paint the market with all these orders, and then you're going to pluck off where you think it's a little too, it defeats the purpose. You have too many orders to entry. The black's the entry. And I think I'm filled here on limits. I don't think any of these were market orders. I suppose at the end of the day here, I could intervene, and I would say this is also valid, is to get the fuck out of this thing and go flat into the weekend instead of letting this, or that's the other thing, are you going to let this thing ride over the weekend? And maybe it was a winning trade, but if that's the case, then just throw in limits that are super close to the market now, because if you think that you say, well, I should have stayed in there, well, just come back in with shallow limits now, which is essentially like kind of getting right back in the market. You've padded your account, you've made money, now come back in with the same idea, but take more aggressive aspect, and they go maybe shorter scripts, and maybe you do have some 12 hours or daily pendings that, you know, are sitting out there. But anything down here, I mean, obviously, we all know that this is the ripest place to buy. How far do you think they could push this market, though? So if you break out your trusty projection tool, people use channels, right? Is your conventional wisdom. Or this is the real bearish target, right? Right down here. I mean, this is the bears. The most aggressive bear is going to say, well, I'm saying we're going down to here. Watch us tumble into this. And then I will go on the YouTube and say, who's saying trend lines don't work? Who's saying channels don't work? Come here, boy. Let me show you something. We're going down here. We're going straight down here. See? I like those ones. I give it a little bit. Okay. I'll say we could dilly-dally, and then this comes out. Here's your last top bottom in the channel. Then we have the channel within the channel. Right, the Andrew's pitchfork. But seriously, do you really think that? And can you imagine what's going to happen? British pound comes rocketing up, and they go, "Oh, they got rid of that. Was it Theresa May? Who are these people running these fucking countries?" Right? Hey, no, yeah. Are you Alice Cooper? No more teachers. No more. Yeah, it's broken. So I create a new one. Dieter's the guy that projected the euro dollar to go to, what was it? $1.40 in 10 years from now. Yeah, we all remember Dieter. He brought down the forum over there. He was the one that tipped the scales over there at the Forex hangout. Him and what was that guy? Edge. Hey, Edge wants to trade. Okay, 180. Well, I was only off by 400 pips. By 4 million pips. Long term, right? No, I mean, no, anything's possible. Listen, they didn't land on the moon, right? So, God, people are doing that clickbait. I'm at the flat Earth. Well, how do we know the moon's not flat? I mean, what is wrong with these fucking people, man? Oh, jeez. No, I mean, the dollar is just kicking everybody's ass. And it's because the interest rates are higher. I just looked at the bank rates, you know. Has anybody looked at the fundamentals of these markets and made any type of conclusions? Do you know what the interest rate is over in Japan? It's like -50, right? Have you seen the rates out there? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Switzerland's the highest. They charge you rent to park your money over in Switzerland. They're charging 75 cents, right? 0.75. Forex hangout. I know, I don't understand this guy's motivation, but I kind of feel like he feels like he just wants to have a nice polite discussion about the market, but I don't use anything polite about it. It's just like, it's like you're up against your logic and reason and your feelings, and you're thinking that you can draw channels, which I'm doing here. But I'm also saying it's totally about vertical pricing structure. You know, I mean, we could hit this channel down here, but don't you really think that in the end, what these markets are really about is this bottom becomes a top, and then people are selling here. This is the pivot. It's a vertical pivot. And of course, we don't know how long it's going to take to get down here, and we wouldn't care. We just put buy limits in here like a fucking idiot. And then it comes down in, yeah, and then this is our exit. So we already know the trade. Can't you see the trade already? My God, man. I don't understand why this Forex Hangout guy doesn't get that you need to buy here and you're going to get out here, right? This is the logical place to get the fuck out, right? If you bought here, logically, where would you get the fuck out? When it comes back to here, actually, that's not quite correct. It's this low, right? This low is the pivot. The last known low. This one, okay, this is the big picture. But you've already made your money, right? You've made your money. Now, do you hold for and go off all the way to here? Okay, maybe you get down half the position here. But it blows my mind. But of course, I mean, everybody's going to do everything different. So I mean, nobody should agree on trading in a way. I mean, the guy that has sell limits sitting up here, and he's like, dude, this is such a fucking bull trap. I'm just going to put sell limits there like a fucking goof. And his friend will say, well, why are you doing that? Can't you see we're in an uptrend? What are you, fucking nuts? Now, here's the argument for a top bottom on an angle on closing prices. Yeah, that works. Because you can see here's the head, the shoulder, and everyone's different. Head, shoulder, but you have to assume this is the fucking shoulder. This is that stupid 618 trade that the fucking Empowered Trade, join the 618 club. But what are you talking to people that have like a brain that's like half the size of a mouse? Who are you talking to? And then the no-nonsense Forex guy, have you seen him? Well, let me break it down for you. He's like, well, I don't want to be too complicated. You know, this isn't for beginners. If you're a beginner, if you're a newbie, this word newbie, I've never heard. Do they have that when it comes to like, oh, I'm at the bowling alley. Are you a newbie? Well, you shouldn't be like, are you cleaning your ball? Buddy, sit down, watch us for a little bit. What the fuck? What is wrong with people? I mean, I guess it's the idea that people want to be schooled, but do you have to make it like kindergarten? Who the fuck are these people? And then they're like, the nonsense Forex. I'm not charging. Dude, you should charge me to listen to you fucking talk. Are you kidding me? Who are these people? Right? Who's that? Think and grow rich. No, think and drop orders. You know, come on, what's wrong with people? Yeah. So, a 5-minute, yeah. No, the Twitch thing's a trip, man. People said, well, you can't do market stuff. I don't think there's any. You know, the Andrew's Pitchfork is, the reason why Andrew's Pitchfork is cool is because what you're doing, you're just saying, I'm building a channel based on what's going on. So you have an adaptive moving average with a center point, right? Fair value at an angle. What it is, it's this fair value at an angle. People don't do Andrew's Pitchforks from left to right without changing price, right? Because then it's just fucking, just pip grids then. You know, it's just a fucking, this shit. Every fucking 20 pips I'm buying, and I'm going to endure the fill. If I wait, and like the one guy said, I was playing him in a stream I did a while ago. Some guy is called the Rambo Trader. Yeah, he's like, I get into the trade. This is what the limit's based on. I get in the trade. I'm like, you know what? I like this fucking trade. Looks like it is going to fucking retrace. I was scared at first because I was buying new lows. I was shitting my pants. But you know what? I like this trade. I'm going to wait till the end of the day. Maybe it retraces by 5 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, well then, maybe I'll hold it over the weekend. Look at this fucker. And I've done that. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking of fucking, oh yeah. You ever seen them take a currency and beat the shit out of it? Now, I'm sure that if you got in too early on some of these trades, you could get hurt. You know, this is why martingale is the only way to really make money. Because what you would do is you'd say, okay, I will buy this 20 pip handle. I'm sorry, it's 50 pip handle. I'll buy a 1K, I'll buy a 2K, I'll buy a 3K, I'll buy a 4K, a 5K. And I'm going to put a stop in down here. I'm going to risk, I mean, just because I don't want to get stopped out, right? But it's when you look at the daily chart, you can see all next week's trading in here. Buy a 1K, same story, but maybe tighter now. Buy a 2K, buy a 3K, buy a 4. Because when this thing comes cascading into there, you're like, holy shit, here we go. That's 1 week of buying, loading the wagon. And you had more pendings here that never filled. So you have enough money in the account to take this. You're risking maybe 25% of your account here. You got $1,000 in there, risking $250, right? You really have to do the math, because if you're going to risk, but at this last phase, you're going to risk even more money because these are going to last longer. So if this script lasts all week and it doesn't fill here and you're like, oh yeah, no, and people are saying, dude, I can't believe you're buying. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I just hate getting trapped. I hate being, chasing a trend. Like, the only place I could justify it in here is, here's your trend trade. Small bar. It's gone up. We could still fill this void. And you exhaust into here. And it's done. It is so done. And then look at this misery here. Now, granted, this is a lot of pips in the 4-hour chart here. This is like 150 pip zigzag action. But, man, when you sold here, and in 4 days you made more money than you'd ever make here, like you didn't even make shit here on this drift down. So the reversal trades, where the money's at. It was sell limit here. It goes to this buy limit back and forth. If you just trade wick to wick on the dailies, without any Fibonacci, nothing like that, just, you could have an Andrews pitchfork in there because it's visually appealing. But if you sold this wicks, then you buy these wicks, then you sell these wicks, then you buy these. Now here you took some heat, but you knew there was going to be drama here. You knew it because of this low and this low. And that's the scalp bang. Then you knew, oh, fuck. It ain't engulfing, which means this really is a bottom becoming a top. And the pivots are happening when the market's dead. When the market's not moving is when it's about to fucking move. And if you don't want to, if you miss that train, then just put your limits in before the train hits town. You're getting in front of the market. And of course, if you spread them out and there's small tickets, it's not going to matter because you're not risking that much, you know. But yeah, it's Rambo, because Rambo don't give a shit. I mean, you really have to be samurai trader. Now here is a greedy trade. Risk 20 pips to make 60 pips, 8 hours. I don't think it'll fill today, but very tight. There's 6K packed into a 10 pip zone. But look at these very broad-based. So here is not a bad script. I can't say this is, like I said, I like where you can take on a 10K over a 50 pip range. Here's a 45 pip range. And I would change some of the, this is 13 pip stop to make 23, so it's like break even. It's kind of ridiculous, but you're not expecting to fill the whole thing, but there's a potential you could. That's a 45 pip on the daily. You're like, well, now that's, here it's only going to be 6 hours, and that thing will delete itself, but, you know, I can layer this up on the 6 hour, and this is a great trade plan. And this is going to martingale. And now this is a 12 to make 26 hours. So it's super aggressive. And of course, if these lasted all week, and these probably could last all week down here too. Like on the weekly, my projection here is, now this would be your classic projection. We've made this price pulse. Now we've come back to here. We'll assume that's the trend line. And we'll and we will assume this same price pulse is coming again. And that puts us here. So that's kind of a brutal diagram. I mean, here to here, the next price pulse should be from here to here, right? So we get a parallelogram. And you know, if that's true, we'll be going into new lows. So we have our orders here anyways. So some guy has an order here, but he's claiming this is the end of his Gartley. So he said, oh, yeah, dude, you understand, man, Gartley's work. Yeah, of course. Because, not because of his Gartley, you know, just because you get up in the morning and urinate is not making the sun come up. So, you know, this is, it's a cruel mistake. You know, people make that mistake, but I'm just thinking, man, look at this fresh prices down here. Now, you would want to look at the weekly here because are we trapped on the British pound? Are we trapped under this floor right now? And I would say we are. Anybody that bought here at the blue line, they made money, see? Because they bought and it came back to the blue and they got out. On the daily, you can't see it on the weekly. But if this is the hammer, you know, if this is the low, and it's the end of the year, and so is this, the pound is trapped under this blue line floor. You really want to sell the pound here? Well, the scalpers have already made their money on the daily. Now what? Is this really going to be the top that becomes a bottom and it's going to keep tanking? I don't think so. I think it's going to chop around. It could go lower, but like that's all in my favor. Because I got all these buy limits sitting on here, just itching to be filled. So Sunday night, I'm going to put in the weeklies. Here, I'll put a weekly in right now. I'm going to go to every currency pair before the market closes. Go to the weekly chart, just to make it, doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be the weekly chart, but here. Oh, I like that. Break evens here, all next week. That's no fucking brainer. $50 to make $50. So if they only fill partial of that, okay, so I'll make $20. But if I start layering them up at different prices, now you're talking, right? If I convert this to buy a, here's a real conservative trade. 3K over a 20 pip range, 40 pips stop to make, 30 pips stop to make 40 pips. Now that's going to last 8 hours, so I don't think it'll fill, but I'm going to try to force it to fill here. Just as you come in, it's very wide, and I'd hold this over the weekend, say. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to smash that down. That's the 4-hour chart. Here's the 1-hour chart. Oh, no, sorry, too late. So you can see all the 1-hour guys have already cashed out, right? This was their exit. You know, it's just a different... They bought new lows. They're out. Okay, sellers are coming in. Everybody just got the fuck out on the 1-hour Australian dollar. Duh. Now it's going sideways. Do you buy? Or do you sell? Expect that. I would say, give me one of these fucking gurus to talk to. I only get to criticize their video. Are you really selling here because you got a top bottom and your target's down here? Or do you think that maybe this is the target? And what do you do now? If you're long, well, if you're long a little bit, maybe you hold it. If you're long a lot, you probably went and got out here. Like, how much you getting in and out? Like, if it's such a good trade, why aren't you in super big on every fucking trade because you spent all that time with your Fibonacci's and your Gartleys? It's just ridiculous. In the 1-hour chart, I have a buy limit here, a buy limit here, and a buy limit here. Or a cluster. And then here I have built-in scalps that'll take the first zigzag because I'm assuming there'll be a double top coming. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I have buy stops here like a goober, which is okay because you have a small range, so it's okay. Small range because it's 4 hours of bullshit breakout. Pull back to the breakout point, makes a move, traps these people. But it looks differently on the 1 hour than it does on a daily. You can't see all the foreplay here. Double bottom becomes a top in time, crushes in. It's just itching to fill this vacuum. So I put limits in here last night. I probably got stopped out of some because I could see this. I could see this hole. I knew they were going to sell off. Now, if I didn't sell up here, if I did sell here, my exit has to be here, right? Because that's the scalp. Then this thing just goes into some descending triangle bullshit, and then, oh gee, wow, look at it. Look how fast it went down. Really, you think so? Because, yeah, it's falling in this giant vapor lock. But guess what? All the big boys, I guess people that have deep pockets, they gobbled this fucking thing up. They've already cashed out at half of it. So now what? That's fucking quiet. It's over. So next week's coming. And let me throw some more limits in here before it closes. So the weekly, I'm going to drop this one. I got to rewrite the other ones the same. So you can see my stop. I'm getting in the middle here, cashing out. And that's kind of a greedy thing because I really should be putting it here where I'm exiting into this floor. If I think that's, and if it's going to last all week, I just keep throwing these in. All the way down. And the density entry here, and then that's the cash out, also coming back into this. So we already know what we want to do if we want to get in a retracement. It's super deep discount prices. Now I'll put the same thing on the weekly here. This 4-hour chart. I definitely want to sell if we go up there. So how, and I can make, there, that's done. So get that one. These limits, above they become sell limits, below they're buy limits, so depending where you drop them. That's the other thing to consider. That makes this a very clean, easy system. It'll always be a limit. And you can't really fuck this trade up unless you put it too close to the market and they last too long. Now here is the scalp, the 15-minute buy limit. So as the market's coming to a close here in the 1 hour, I'll see if I can buy this plunge with 9 pip stops, 15-minute limits. Right there, just a 3K. Now I'm going to stack them up. Now that's a different, because these are only 15-minute scripts. I'm going to ask in the market. Then I'm going to put some 1 hours in. I'll put the 1 hours in like slightly. Oh, wait, I'm going to go down the other one that's got the starts here. Here's a really wide stop. 1 hour. Right there. The target's up here. It's ridiculous. This is a real trend kind of trade, or a big swing trade. Here's a bad ratio. We're going to risk 20 to make 10. I'm going to start it a little bit deeper. Okay, so we're only up $17 now. This is another one place I'd do that same. So as you come into the close of the market here, we can experiment with very, just a 1 hour limit thing there. I'd buy that pullback. Here's a 3 hour one. So that's a lot more aggressive. I'm not paying attention to the ratios there, I guess. Here I should put in a scalp. 8 pip stops to make 16. Let's see, oh, here's one. Wow, beautiful. Catch a falling knife right here on the fucking 4 hour. Look at this yen. Wow. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, so this is so obvious. I'm going to see how long it takes next week here. All week long I'm buying here. Break evens. Okay, so this broker's amazing. They let you put so many fucking tickets in here. I think you can put 2,000 orders in this broker. It's a great place to test this theory. All week long down here. And then I'm going to start right there at the void of. So yeah, if they punish this euro anymore, I'm going to gobble it up. The euro's about, but see on the monthly, it's just ticking around at this giant pivot. This monster. Here's the internal pivot on the euro, and here's kind of like where we crash through. We're not holding. We've fallen underneath that, but this to me is the big contest. And of course, what is the interest rate over in Europe is 0. So we have equilibrium here. We're in the middle of fair value. If you consider this area, the middle of this is fair value. So we have that big up move, which is kind of giving us a place to put the top and the bottom, the current top and bottom. So I try not to put too much history in here, because some people. So if I just go with this, and if I was in the cycles, I would say this should be the extended end of this cycle. So from this move to this move, and then time-wise, price over time, I would maybe just chop off the. Where can we be by the end of this? Coming into next year. So, yeah, it's the end. Well, the end of, this is the monthly chart. So what is that telling me on the? I will look at the weekly. Now I got to zoom way out to see that. Oh, I see the end of the year's coming right up there quick. So we close out in some type of drift thing. If you go for the extended, but we don't want to think that far ahead. So actually, if you're just going to trade the weekly from, and it's going to take us, look at this, all the way back to the starting gate of this top becomes a bottom right here. We're just right in this price now. Interest rates are 0 in Europe if you own this currency. I don't know if they raised the interest rates here and then here they turned off the interest rate. I don't know if this is any fundamental. I don't pay attention to that. I wouldn't know where to sync up the, but it is 0 right now, right? Yeah, I know. Well, you want me to name all the colors? Magenta. I don't think Americans will push the euro. Yeah, do you think this is like a, okay, so do you think this is like a stock market, the euro dollar? Do people hold on to this currency to, they park it in the banks over in Europe? When the British pound is at 160, where interest rates high compared to the rest of the, I've got the Swiss franc, I got the interest rates around the world here, so fundamentally speaking, which I don't know if it shows up in the charts, but so I think what's Australia. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Because I remember when I started 10 years ago, 8 years ago, the New Zealand dollar is paying 5%. And now it's ridiculous, right? So here's the, they charge you to put money over in Switzerland. Gotta love that. That's because the cheese, right? You know, the cheese is expensive because the rent that you have to pay for it to age. You're paying for rent, I think. If more it's aged, they'll, you know, so, and the Australians are still nailing it here, but we're just kicking everybody's ass. And this is the fundamental argument for why the currencies are moving. And the problem with that theory is that what if the market's swinging as it's drifting and the range is not appropriate for your account? It's too much of a swing. these guys are neck to neck. But I noticed something on here. I was looking at this fundamentally, and I came to the conclusion that these guys are the commodity currencies, and it looks like here you're getting, you know, the land or whatever reason why this country can pull this dollar amount is because of the all that big money that's parked in there, the commercial industry money that's mining all the commodities. And then here we have just cheese in a small country that can only do cheese. And granted, it's good cheese, but and they're safe. They got guns. They have a pretty low crime, except that one time they had some guy act up at school. In Japan, you know, this is the geisha tax apparently coming in at 0.10. They're like, you know what, we're a small country. Very metric number they chose. Okay, we're just a little bit less than 0. We're not like the Swiss. Like, come on, give us a break. Look at these motherfuckers. And of course here, you know, if you do your PIP calculator, when you trade these currencies, you have to do a special adjustment for the yen if you're like in a split error. Now here is the good old pound stepping up to the plate of just 3/4. Now we used to be here. Then we stepped to the plate and started raping people. But it's so funny because all the people that saying the dollar is going to die and all the X22 reports, and then somebody was talking about the dollar index, and I looked it up at the monthly. It's totally in an uptrend. From a structure point of view, if you look at the monthly line chart of the, going back to the beginning of time on the Dixie, you've got, you broke out, you pulled back, you're at a double bottom right now. I remember in my mind, I could see the yearly chart, and it's just a complete structure no-brainer. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to smash around a little bit, right? I assume there's always going to be some smashing around. But the euro said, you know what? Take it or leave it. We don't care if you park your money here. It's like going to the carnival. They're like, yeah, as long as you shoot some balloons and try to get a big teddy bear, then you can stay here and just... of course, this is the... everybody's welcome in our country. You're not going to make any money off us. Don't try to get greedy. And we're not going to get greedy with you. Interesting. I never looked at this shit, to be honest with you, but I don't know if I can make any... of course, does this mean we're going to go to... oh, what's the trend? Sorry, what's the trend? Is this going to go to a half? Are they going to notch this down? Is this going to go to 250? These guys are going to play runner-up. Is everything going to move up at the same rate? Are these guys going to go even more negative? And then we're going to go to a complete buck below. Another, you know what, this is high rate, because the Swiss banks accounts are outlawed, so they're like, you know what, we're charging you now. Everything's transparent. With your Swiss bank, your Swiss secret number listed only. It is interesting. I don't know what I can say about the... but you're parking your money there. You're also parking your money there so that when they have a bank holiday, right, and all the flat earthers are like, I can't get my money out. All the I didn't land on the moon, Vox Day, fuck nuts. You gotta love when Vox Day is criticizing Jordan Peterson, you know. That's pretty funny. Two mystics fighting it out. Yeah, Brexit, right? Is everybody so nervous about Brexit that it's making the market go down and people are pulling their money in there? How far is Switzerland from Britain? Can't you just move over there? Is that what's going on? Like when they went to Cyprus, are they just going, you know what, see you, bye? Of course, people with money can move very quickly, you know, because they can just get in their Learjet and they can just fly over there, you know, and get a helicopter. Or how about a drone? How about 10 drones strapped to your ass? You know, go to the gym, lose some weight, get your own kind of like, got a $6 million man jetpack. Yeah, so, I mean, but don't you think France should have their own interest rate? Is there not in the, I didn't look it up. Is the riots making the franc go down? Should I short? Maybe I should buy stock in like riot gear. That'd be my dad's fundamental view of trading. No, Jordan Peterson's a psychologist. So the thing is these guys like Vox Day, and they're going, no, this guy. So Vox Day clickbaits and writes this Jordan Peterson criticism book, and then then I'm watching this because I kind of fascinated to see the flat earth. I will watch a flat earther, but then I get to a point where I'm like, dude, you're killing me. Like, I mean, come on, you're just killing me. Yeah, Peterson has quite a bit of psychological insight, and the thing is that he doesn't want to. He's he is definitely a mystic. He's a myth. He's like Joseph Campbell. I'm surprised people don't get what he's saying. He's Joseph Campbell, and also the other guy that he's into is also just on that same line. I can't remember his name. Or even have you heard this guy? Oh, so I was at a party a couple of years ago, and this really cute girl, I said something, and she says, "Oh, we're into philosophy." And we listened to, I don't get the name wrong, but some guy named Watts or something. No, not Watts. You know, one of these guys that just kind of just talks in parables and just, you know, that never makes a point. Pure abstract drivel, you know, which I do find entertaining. I mean, abstraction is certainly the pathway to getting a different angle view and getting a more of a 3D view, because the I think people that just want to you can be linear, but there is definitely the chaotic, the attraction to chaos. So naturally, you know, that's why I look at it. At least if I had it. So I'm at the so the girl at the coffee shop broke my heart when she mentioned her husband today. So she's been in there, she works there, and I'm like, oh, okay. And started chatting again, and she goes, well, my husband, and I'm like, and I almost wanted to say out loud, you didn't just say the H word, did you? You didn't say, what? And I was like, God, let's not even, Alan Watts, right. So the Alan Watts thing, so this girl's so cute, and I go home and I put on Alan Watts, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is like Peterson on acid. But people just don't get, there's a right and left brain. It comes down to right and left brain, and of course we need logic and reason to make money in the markets, but there's a gut feeling, I suppose. If a person could look at a chart, a newbie trader could look at the chart and say, you know, it's going down. And so they either say, I can see it's going down, I'm just going to sell right now. Or they would say, no, I see it's going down, but I'm going to wait for a good place to get on the short train. And those two, there's such a big difference between those two thoughts, because one's saying, I know what's going on, let's go. The other one's saying, I know what's going on, but let me be tactful, right? Let me try to be tactful. And that's, I think, what Jordan Peterson's trying to do, is be as tactful as possible. He's a fucking teacher. He's from the so he's overly critically thinking, you know. He's over critically, so he's self-editing himself the whole time, which I'm surprised that this Vox Day guy doesn't say, dude, this guy's completely schizoid. And then he has all these metaphors in his book, and Vox Day is so retarded that he looks at it and goes, he's talking about this fantasy with his fucking, well, so he's just, and it's all metaphoric. If you watch this thing about the dragon, slay the dragon and all this stuff, yeah, it's all hyperbole to make a fucking point. Everybody does that. It's like, nobody needs to bend guitar strings that far, right? What was Steve Ray Vaughan doing on his guitar here? I mean, what Hendrix is doing with his guitar lighting on fire? What the fuck is going on here? But people are like, you know, they were horrified back then. You know, where do you put that on the? But it's so funny, because you see the people that claim they're Christians, like this Fox Day is like, I'm a Christian and stuff, and this, when you hear people say, I don't know if it's just me, but hear people say, well, that's Lucifer. It says, right, look at that. I'm like, dude, that's in your fucking head. The world is objectively there. And then I never heard Vox Day talk about Ayn Rand. Like, this guy is supposedly logic and reason. And then he's in he played in some boy band or something. I don't know. I mean, he lives in Italy. Dude, it's just the weirdest thing. And some guy was ripping on him in the stream and said, just because you have a dark room and you have a chair. And then he acts all arrogant, but it's like, dude, he talks like so slow. I'm like, make a fucking point. I don't know. I just watched that, too much time on my hands. I should have a family. I can just beat my kids. Sorry, I had to go off on that rant. Yeah, I mean, I think it's sacred geometry, right? I mean, Jordan Peterson would be in the sacred geometry. You could see that. People want to make sense of these markets, though, I think, because they just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's making that up, that he didn't sleep. That is fascinating. But I think that maybe he was just being... like, if I tell the guys in my band, I'll say sometimes... hey, you know, whatever you do, please don't come over and fuck my wife. And they're like, God, man, you're so abrasive. And I'm like, sorry, these are jokes. I'm sure they're trying to make fun of stuff. But maybe he was just saying, dude, I couldn't sleep. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Could you go? I don't know. Maybe he was just saying he couldn't sleep at night and he was taking naps during the day. I mean, no, he didn't say. It was really weird because he didn't say. If somebody pressed him on that, I don't even think he remembers saying it. If somebody pressed him on that, I think he'd say, dude, I had to take a nap. I didn't sleep at night. Like, I couldn't sleep. And then, yeah, I took a nap in the afternoon to make up for it. I used to do that. I used to be up all fucking night, working and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, I've been up for fucking 3 nights. I sleep during, I take naps, so I take a nap. What the fuck? Beside this Peterson guy, he was supposedly up in Canada in some rough lumberjack fucking thing, and then this Vox guy's claiming, oh, he's such a fucking pussy, he's a coward. Dude, I'm a coward around lumberjacks. Yeah, I only weigh like 170 pounds. I'm not going to come up against these fuckers. I'm not going to piss off a lumberjack and get raped. Did you ever see that movie with, oh God, fucking can't remember his name, British guy, you know, from Silence of the Lambs, the guy in the jail. You know, this guy's talking about banging trees. It's like, dude, up there's these lumberjacks and shit. Some brutal lifestyle. I don't know. Fuck. I mean, it's so funny because it's like, I mean, so you can write a book and knock out this thing, and then I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's just weird. I never thought I'd see people having their own cottage industry of just like, well, we'll talk about the flat Earth today. I mean, probably if I put up a flat Earth, is the moon flat? If I had a different topic, which I've thought about just getting a different channel because I can't my brain's exploding from all the bullshit I watch. And when it comes to trading looks a lot easier than navigating, like, especially, imagine your wife's really hot and she likes Fox Day. I mean, we can think of nightmares in your life, you know? You think of like, oh, fuck me. She's watching this fucking shit? I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever been married, but I have, and I'm going to tell you what. I'm like, oh my God, I got to start drinking. My wife's watching Fox Day and she's digging it. Mark Wahlberg, yeah. You know, it's funny because I was totally against Lady Gaga until I saw her in A Star Is Born, and I'm like, oh, God, I want to marry her. I mean, it's terrible how you change your mind. Wahlberg was in he's a decent, does he really? Fuck. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Hopkins, yeah, right. I mean, Anthony Hopkins, so I have my buddy who's a tequilaholic, and he'll get drunk and he'll start complaining about, because he's conservative, but he'll complain about Hollywood, and he'll say, these fuckers, man. He goes, I could do that. I could fucking act. Give me some lines to read. These guys are over fucking paid. And he just gets so fucking pissed. And, so you watch somebody like, and I think that the argument could be said that, you know, this Anthony Hopkins is staring out a fucking window. I don't know if you've seen The Remains of the Day. My buddy had that movie on like Laserdisc or something, and like, oh yeah, and we're watching. I'm like, dude, I can't. Can I get a drink? Like, it's a guy staring out the fucking window. I can stare out a window. What? I gotta memorize my line for that. But I don't know. I guess you can stare out the window with some intensity. I don't know how you get money. Is that really hard to do? I don't know. Anybody from acting school here? I guess you got to be queer to join acting school, though. It's a prerequisite. You got to be up for anything. Anything goes, right? Anyways, oh look at I'm making money there. So look at that. I'm up $29 on my limit theory. I guess I'm just going to let it ride. No, I don't know if I've gotten any fills. I'm not going to pay attention. That's another thing. Should I worry about my trades? Should I be overly concerned? Look at this fucking one. I don't know if this is a limit drop, a 1 hour drop, because, like I said, I didn't make a very precise comments for my scripts. You know, I could, I suppose. But if that's truly a 1 hour script, then that means we just pulled back a little bit on that Australian. I'm thinking, oh, see, look, it's going to break out. It's going to engulf. There you go. So I would have held definitely half that position. Or I'm buying now in the breakout. So I put a buy stop here at the end of the day. I don't know. It looks like a trap, you know. Of course, you know, you only got just under 2 hours left. Would I sell here all next week? I'd say only for scalps, because that's the next battleground, I think. Coming up here into this stuff, I'll put a blue. Gonna go with the blue for the sells. But yeah, if I'm selling here, no, we'll red sell. Sell limit here. And I got to cash out here for the scalp. And then I would probably do sell limits here, and then we have to scalp to here, because this is a known top. So if we bounce here, bounce there, we have to assume zigzags all along the way, so we'd always constantly be putting those orders in. And you may not make it here till next week, so we could put weekly orders up there. Of course, I'm on the 1 hour chart, so you got to think in terms of how far we could get. On the 4 hour chart, I'd say, wow, you know, this bottom became a top on the 4 hour. Anything up around there. So I'd start about here on this rooftop. And so I'll just sell up there next week. That's going to be, I can make these in the scalps. I could actually not let the 50 pip take profit. So I can use this as a scalp if I'm aware of the fact that, hey, you know, I'm selling up there. So I'd naturally sell there in advance. The daily view is, okay, well, it looks great on the daily. I just put some more buy limits in here for the market close, so I'm going to go super aggressive. And the British pound looks like, oh, look at this thing. It looks like it just, look at the brutality of that. So does this say that this is the end of, now there's 2 Brexits on here, it looks like. If you call the pound tanking a Brexit, I guess there's 4 good smash beatdowns here. I don't know what these Brits did to themselves, but yeah, here's the, of course, the Smooth Akinashi nails it. You're bullish, now you're bearish. And of course, on this weekly chart, it's a lot less whipsaw. And it's like, wow. So as far as the sell-offs go, what an amazing sell-off. And you can see the inflection point here. where they just scalp. They only get a little scalp out of that. And then blammo. Blammo. Comes back. Fills this little void, and then holy shit, people are like, well, if it ever takes this out, no shit. This thing came so ferociously back. Actually comes back to this. I think we're about done melting down for the moment. And so maybe we stabilize here. And it's going to be quite the contest to get back to here if that ever happens. Good Lord. Of course, these people enjoyed a nice drift recovery. And maybe this is the Brexit. In other words, it's good for the pound. I don't understand the Brexit thing. If anything, this was the original Brexit 4 years ago. Like, bye-bye. See ya. More punishment for those poor Brits that are walking around in the rain with their head down, depressed, wondering where would it all end, what does it all mean? When you start to tell people their bananas have to be straight or something, that's going to be a problem. When did that start? Was that back here on this this top? That's right, people. No more logarithmically spiral bananas are allowed. Wow, that was a problem. Yeah, gosh, what happens if we get down here? Well, that's quite a deep discount. This must be Brexit then. Wow, what an insane trap. That is just out of your fucking mind prices. I don't know, man. This thing can really... Imagine you just had So my tequila buddy one day was trading the Forex, and I said to him, 10 years after we were talking about the Canadian dollar, he just couldn't handle trading it because he would stare at the market and get all excited, and he almost had a coronary. And so the Canadian dollar was at like a buck even. And at this time, it's at $1.40. So 10 years, I said, dude, if you were holding a 1K, do you know how much money you'd have for a fucking 1K? Can you imagine? You're killing it with a 1K. You know, you take the Soros trade as a Soros trader. You sell the pound. Look at this thing flag out. This is just so insane. People like, ruh-roh. Starts cleaning house. Oof. Bam. Nice dead cat bounce. Really not a dead cat bounce. Pretty good bounce because we just go sideways for years. Then a classic trend. The only time my trend bot made money on the monthly. I back tested it and it did really good 1 year. I wonder why. Maybe your stop and your fucking entry was set to a very ripe situation for that one move. Yeah, my robot only likes these kind of moves. It doesn't like this move. It doesn't like this jagged shit. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like this. But oh boy, it likes this. It likes these two trades. I took 2 trades in 17 years of trading. I've gotten 2 signals on my robot that I backtested. I heard that no-nonsense Forex guy talking about, well, you can't use... You should hear this guy's channel. You just die. Okay, children. Do we have our sandwiches out? If you cut them into pieces? Okay. Now, do you have your milk? Oh, is it in the glass? Okay. Who are you talking to? Anybody that comes to trading, they're probably somewhat intelligent because you have to kind of go through a lot of shit, right? I mean, you have to load the platform, be able to click on. I don't know, man. I can understand if it was Forex for dummies. I guess when they have those books, Forex for dummies, like, I'm dumb. Hey, can you? I get it. You don't know anything about it, but you know. you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I shouldn't be so mean. Straight bananas. Were the girls complaining of the bananas? Who was complaining about the bananas? Damn these fucking bananas. Can't get them in my vagina. It's fucking just so wrong. I just had a sex operation. And I can't get it in my... It's getting peeled. It's just wrong. It's so wrong. It should not be... It's like a corkscrew. It's hurting me. I mean, what has happened to people? The Banana Control Council. Here they'd have a name for it. Holding the ransom. Really? So the Forex Hangout guy, this guy, I mean, you may think I'm the meanest guy in the world, but I don't humiliate. I'm not going to shut down the stream. I have somebody in the background. Well, they, you can't, isn't that, oh, that's Colorado. I'm thinking, no, but I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I do some bad things, but I don't eat sandwiches in front of people on a stream. Hell, you mind if I get like, hey, I don't know, man. It's a good decorum. I just don't get it. I don't know what his agenda is, though. I don't understand the guy. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm admittedly out of my mind, but this guy is like, when he says stuff like, oh, so some guy come in there one time with Andrew's pitchfork. And so he's like, well, I don't understand. Can you explain how this works? I'm like, he must not have a trading book. I think maybe he just, I don't know. He doesn't ever really mention anything. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Right. That's right. I mean, I forgot that aspect of it. Should they build Trump's wall out of bananas? Crooked bananas, I say. Yeah, put it in their face. Dude, you don't understand. The United States, last summer, or maybe, yeah, nothing wrong. I know, can I be a bored housewife, barefoot pregnant, right? Can I just be sitting in the, I don't know. It's strange, though. Maybe just because, in other words, it's a hobby. He reminds me of a ham radio guy. He's that kind of, you know, I'm not saying he's an evil person, but I just don't get it. Yeah, so I was on Hangouts. I was on the Google Hangout talking with him, and he just, of course, it's not like I understand that I typically am not going to let somebody get a word in edgewise, but he didn't say too much, and he's placid. He's just he reminds me of like animal crackers, just really one shade. You have although I do enjoy animal crackers because it's the pattern, right? All this made out of the same batter, but it's like, oh, look, it's a giraffe. Look, a rhino. Hey, I bit his head off. I don't know. Animal crackers was actually my gateway to almost becoming a sociopath that was going to kill the cats next door. I think, I don't know what could have gone wrong there. But I don't know. He's so, I think they call it milk toast. He's just so, and then one time he got my dander up because he was talking about, well, you see, the baby boomers came in and spent all this money. I'm like, dude, we're all in the same fucking ship of fools, all in the same gravy train. I mean, if you play victimhood, like, Jesus Christ, man, we're all having to tolerate the hot married Starbucks girl. Look, what are you working here for then? I almost want to say to her, how dare you show up? You got a husband? Don't even talk about that. But she did tell me she had a hysterectomy, so that was very intimate when she told me that last night she couldn't sleep because it was so hot. And I said, well, maybe because it's warm out, you know, it's foggy out. She goes, no, I think I'm having hot flashes. And I go, how old are you? And she said she was 46, and she looked like she was 35. And then when she says, well, you know, I said, what are you doing here? oh, well, I'm a school teacher, and so she's a CrossFit trainer, and she runs 5Ks, and she's all ripped. And she goes, well, if you look real close, you see wrinkles on my face. And I'm like, well, I said, you're on the other side of the Starbucks counter, so I can't really ever get that close to you to really see how old you really are. And she says, yeah, well, you know, and then when she mentioned her husband, I'm like, okay, we just took a big turn here in our relationship. Our potential relationship just made a big turn. So, well, we'll just be friends. But, yeah, good money. Yeah, can I just be like, can I just lay around and do laundry? I don't understand that $10,000. Yeah, and of course, it was like, well, I'm up 2% on the day. I'm like, I don't get it. His entry theory is so bizarre. He's on a 5-minute chart. Can anybody explain his strategy? And then he has this thing. He goes, people ask me all the time about my strategy. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you've never fucking I just don't, what the fuck? If he would say I buy at 618 regardless, I'd be like, oh, I heard of that one. Okay. I don't understand his strategy. He's on a 5-minute chart. He's looking at like, I don't even know how much days of data. He's making arbitrary entries. I'll get in here. And then one time he was showing, look, I got beat up today doing this trade. I'm like, well, yeah, you just over traded it or something. I mean, in other words, I wanted to say something about it, but people get freaked out if I criticize them. But you could see the trap, right? You could see the trap entry. I'm like, God, can't he see the trap yet? When is he going to figure out that you got to get in on the trap? That you can't say, well, I think that we're making higher highs till we're not, and I'm just going to buy on pullbacks. And I'm going to break out a fib tool. And I'm just going to get in this bizarre kind of like, why in the 5-minute chart then? Why don't you just go to the 1-hour chart and zoom in? If you're going to hold, how long are you going to be in the trade? Like, if you're going to scalp it, why doesn't anybody talk about that? Because you could be in a trade for one day and make 80 pips. Or you could be in there for a week and make 80 pips. I made 80 pips. He made 80 pips. Can anybody see a difference here? One guy made it in 4 hours. One guy made it in 5 weeks. They're both good traders. No, one guy's a fucking idiot. If he's trying to make 80, another one's not an idiot, but one guy's trading like he doesn't give a fuck, and the other guy's like, dude, I'm like 80 pips in one fucking day. Watch this. One guy's going to get rich quick, and one's going to get rich slow. Well, you can't get rich quick. Well, you can. What do you call rich? You made $300 in 3 minutes, or you made $300 in 30 days. Well, see, you can't get rich quick. So, yeah, but if you stop trading, and I guess this is why maybe you can't not get rich quick, because you can get rich quick so many times that you're probably going to get poor quick. If you're trading the same size, in the end of the month, you're going to be maybe at a loss because you over traded it. But there's no structural, I don't know, for a guy that's been trading that long, but maybe he'll figure it out one day. But and then you invite people, and I guess this is the social part of it. This was Facebook's based around, but every time I go there, my fucking black drummer is a racist, and I'm like, dude, are you kidding? He's still talking about lynching. I'm like, dude, you just go play your fucking drums. Or shut up, play your guitar, as Zappa used to say. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it's a succession of traps. The only thing that is that you cannot see the ask on the charts here, but there's just see the bid. But the cool thing is that Mobius 7 can see the trap. It can see the spread. Mobius 7 can see. You can do a bid-ask chart, but it's just like at some point you could figure out that the only way you're going to make money is to get in and not have them kick you out of the trade on a stop, right? And of course, the second light bulb will go off in your fucking head, which I don't understand why this guy, he actually was trading with 2 tickets. So I was like, wow, you finally figured out you could trade with 2 tickets and put a cushion. He keeps talking about risk management. Well, dude, put in 10 tickets and soften your risk. he has a hard risk. Maybe because he's a real man or something. I don't know. Real man trading. I'm sure a girl could figure out what I'm doing. I don't know what that says about me, but I think if I showed this to a girl, she'd go, "Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, you're getting in like kind of like partially, yeah." Because a woman's not like, "Well, no, you don't understand. Just step away from the fucking chart, would you, honey? Do you know what RSI is?" No. And this guy was, oh my God, the simple, what's his name? The no nonsense Forex guy is talking about. I should bring it up. This is too fucking, you gotta see this. Yeah, no, Goober King. No, he should go for it, man. He should put on a goober hat like they used to make you wear a dunce hat. Apparently it turned into a Ku Klux Klan hat later on. But, no, look, check this. You want to hear some funny shit. You ever no nonsense? So somebody turn me on no nonsense Forex guy. It's as good as the Rogue Wave. It's not quite the Rogue Wave comedy, but, this guy here, I'm hiring this guy to raise my 2-year-old kid. What does it even say? Now he just published this. This is fresh out of the he's got 7,200 views. And then I've heard people say, oh, I'm jealous that he's got 7,200 views. No, I'm not. What this guy's saying is so fucking ridiculous. Check this shit out. I may be able to scroll around here very well. Wait. Listen to this guy's voice. You die. Oh, shit. I just blew up your ears. I'm sorry.
We had the volume episode, and it was a big episode. It explained how crucial volume is to what we do here as trend traders.
Oh, boy.
I then explained how a volume indicator is also key because it helps eliminate...
Now, this guy, he's from Prop House Forex. He's a Prop House. Vice President of Prop House. Wait. I think I just fried your ears. Mine too. Hopefully the compressor was able to truncate that drama, the audio drama. But this guy, oh my fucking God. I should speed him up, but you really lose the depth of his... I gave him a big fat thumbs down. Volume indicators. Part 2. And a free tool. Oh boy, free tool. So you mean like a pliers or a needle nose pliers?
Losses that we take along the way, thus making our account go up and up and up. After watching the video, many of you got to work right away.
I did. I got to work. I got my tools. I got right to work.
Away and started finding some of these indicators and testing them out.
Oh, you bet I did.
In a very short amount of time, a lot of you had great success with what you found.
Oh my God, this guy's having an orgasm. What is this? What is this? More kitty porn?
While some of you came out confused.
And he always has this confused black girl. Is this guy a racist? What was he doing? This is the best fucking picture he could find. A lot of you come out confused. Dude, you gotta step it up a notch. He just published this fucking thing. No nonsense Forex.
The first 3 or 4 indicators you found didn't help.
No, they didn't help. So I used Rogaine. That helped.
You wanted to argue with my definition of volume.
You bet I wanted to argue. Dude, you was so fucking head up your ass. Why? And then what's this guy's motivation? Forex Hangout guy should stretch to achieve this amount of stupidity in his video.
You spent all of 1 hour researching and you weren't coming up with anything.
God, this guy's voice. I wish my voice sounded as good as his. I mean, and I like his cadence, and you weren't coming up with anything. Like, I mean, this is like, reminds me of infomercial shit from, I think he's maybe he used to work for QVC and they fired him.
Boo-hoo. But then you kept at it. And some of you, over time, it's just a matter of researching it further and testing out further.
He reminds me of, I used to buy these Martingale tapes, so Think and Grow Rich tapes, and the guy that did the voice, he sounds like a guy that does the voiceovers for book reading. And she went to the cupboard,
started to find some things that really worked well.
Boo-hoo. boo-hoo. And look at this guy. This guy just, oh, it's just like, this is a winning trade.
Oh. Or you sought out some of the ideas of the no-nonsense Forex community, and they gave you some that worked.
See, now I'm not a community guy, although here I'm supposedly attempting to talk to people in the community. But this idea of joining so I'm in the Forex Hangout. This is when I just knew I wasn't going to be able to be a Forex Hangout guy, is because I'm in there day one, and Ryan Brown, who is this good-looking guy with a hot wife. And so anytime I see a good-looking guy, I just figure, well, he must be gay. And I made this gay joke, and oh boy, they deleted it immediately. We're not going to have any of that around here. We'll have no lampooning around. What, are you trying to have fun? Get the fuck out. What the fuck? Can't we have some fun? Not here. It's just, you can show a moving average, but...
But some of you still came out confused.
And you can't get another confused picture like Ren Stimpy, like Ren scratching his head.
And that's normal. But let's try and fix that.
Oh, fix it. Oh, the fixer. This is it. This is how the Trump henchman got in trouble.
And then once we've cleared up all the confusion, got a free tool for you.
Oh boy. Really? I'm staying tuned. He's a minute in and I see the word free. I think is that subliminal or is that too long lasting?
Let's get it.
Oh boy. Holy shit, fuck me. It's like a chess game, this trading shit.
Volume and volatility. Are they the same thing? No.
Oh wow, you're kidding me.
Are they very closely related? Yes. Should I have mentioned this before? Yes.
He's the VP Professional Forex Prop Trader USA. What is VP? Vice President or very popular? What is the VP going on? What's this? He's the Vice President? Very profitable. Sorry. Huh. Right? No.
And looking back on it, am I glad I didn't? Yes. And we'll talk about that soon, but first, understand.
He has to be more articulate. I can barely understand what he's saying.
If you are finding this channel for the first time, you are in uncharted territory. You are going to be confused.
Not for newbies. Okay, step away. Honey, get out of the room. It's not for newbies.
This is not for new traders. This is a continuation video from last week. I've been spending time with my more experienced no-nonsense Forex traders, those who have consumed all the material.
Molesting them like the guy that was the gymnast coach?
To kind of help them along in this process.
Like a Nasser for Forex.
And last week's video really wasn't for newbies either.
Wow, and they're still not over it. They're out at the bar drinking going, I'm scratching my head. What the fuck did we just watch? God damn it. I can't believe you let me watch that. Don't you know I'm a newbie? The fuck?
But we will start getting a little more broad
Now I'm taking Excedrin. I got a headache. I got the Forex headache number 58.
Stroke next week and start going over some more broad terms for everybody. But if you're a new...
all-inclusive. And then we're going to do like how to trend trade later.
Trader, or if you're new to this channel especially, go to the beginners video. Even if you've been trading this market for 5 years, we do...
Holy shit, I got to start over? Damn it. God damn it, all that work I did.
Things very differently, and it's only fair to you that you learn that first. You're gonna
I like how he stretches out certain words. It's only fair to you. Is this guy fucking manipulating me? I feel manipulated. Like I feel like he's coming up behind me going, I'm gonna do, you don't need that cold. You ain't got to rub up against me so close. It's not that cold out.
This channel. But go to that video first. I'm going to put the link below. If you go any further at this point, you're just going to get confused and all.
You're going to go any further, you're just going to get, you better have some lube. If you go any further than you're going right now, son. I don't like how close you're getting to me with that fucking manipulated voice.
Likelihood, because we have a very particular way we trade.
I bet. Here, 1 for you, 19 for me.
And the last couple videos that I have been doing is for those traders. And this video is no
and you know who you are.
Exception. So as I had mentioned before, there's people that really love to nitpick over everything.
You betcha. Now this is where he just totally is like ridiculously, I totally have issues with this. He wasn't want to, look at this guy. He really, wow, this is a mind bender.
I say and do. But understanding that some of the terms I talk about are not definitive terms. They can go a few different ways. And volume is definitely one of those terms. As soon as that video came out, people were immediately like, well, the volume all depends on your broker, and it's all based on tick volume, and that's not going to help anybody. And then they'll say, oh, you use the ADX indicator. That's a volatility indicator. That's not a volume indicator. You don't know what you're talking about. While the majority of you went out and actually started looking for volume indicators and just kept testing and testing until you found a couple good ones, and now you have them forever. Some traders like to win. Some traders like to argue. I suppose the choice is yours.
Wait a minute there, buddy. The choice is yours. You can argue with me. And meanwhile, don't forget this guy has... This is just unbelievable. This guy is so ridiculous. He's one of these back-testing bozos.
In the end. But I do need to clarify things up a little bit when it comes to volume and volatility and other related terms. So, understand this. This thing here helps create these things over here.
Oh boy. Here we go. So what in the hell is this guy talking about, for God's sakes? This thing here? I'm glad you didn't use the word.
Can these things happen without this? They can. It's just not very likely.
Oh God, I can't scroll out of this. Wait. I'm hitting the wrong key. Wait. That just took the volume out. This is volume 2 down here, right? Is this what he means? Oops. Wait. Oh, I'm trying to get out of the full screen here. I got to close my drawing tool. Okay.
Market. Now, there's a reason why, for the longest time, I have used the word volume to talk about these two things in particular. I'm going to get rid of momentum because when it comes to talking about actual indicators that we're looking for, we don't want momentum indicators because those are typically defined as indicators that have changes in momentum, which is another word for reversals, which we do not do. So let's get rid of that and take it down to this. Now, full disclosure, I used to do private coaching back in the day. I don't do it anymore, but back when I did it, I had quite a few people whose English was not their first language, and they were very sharp people and spoke pretty good.
He's language shaming. So anyways, he took out the momentum. Sorry, I butchered that, but I fucking so zoomed in and zoomed out. Somebody asked me why the MetaTrader font is big. It's because I forced Windows to 125% of normal. The only way to make the fonts bigger in MetaTrader, because MetaTrader is living inside of the old Windows 1080, 1024 world. That's how bad MetaTrader is. In other words, MetaTrader is not really designed to run on a high-res monitor. So you have to force Windows, tell Windows, give me 125% or 150%. If you have a really big monitor, I would run Windows at 150%. And then the problem there is that some apps aren't going to run. Like, I got this Mobius Trader running, and it won't, I can't make this any smaller. The Mobius won't go any smaller. It's a lot of modern programs say, oh, your res is too low for that. So there's definitely some archaic situation there with the but check out this poor guy's so he's got liquidity and volatility, but it's just and this guy's supposedly free, but maybe he's trying to bait you to pay. So he's claiming he doesn't charge or something. He says he only has to charge because it takes him so much production quality to speak the way he does.
Good English. But we would run into problems sometimes if I started to take them in the wrong direction. It was really hard to get them back on the right path. And I remember talking about volume and how tough it was because this is exactly what happened.
How tough it is. Dude, why does he care about volume? I just don't get this argument about volume. I've had this fight with so many people. All that matters is volatility, whether there is or there isn't. Liquidity doesn't matter. It just doesn't. What is this guy? What is he? So it's just too much.
I explained how important volume is and how we need it as trend traders.
We need it as trend traders. So he's not a reversal trader. We need it as trend traders. This guy's going to get in so late. He's going to run such a wide stop. It's going to blow your mind. Muddy waters. That's a fucking blues guy, isn't it?
And how it also creates these two things. And these are...
What are those things?
Also two things that we are looking for when it comes to whether or not we should take a trade or not.
Take a trade or not. Oh, yeah. Did you check the volatility? I don't know. Liquidity looks kind of... I don't know. Psst. Move on to the next, Gartley.
And right when I said that, people started getting off track. They would say things like, oh, so we need liquidity, right? Well, that's easy. I'll just start trading real heavy on pairs like the euro dollar and the dollar yen. And I was like, no, that's definitely not the answer. You actually want to be a little more cautious when you trade pairs like that, because those are the pairs that the big banks manipulate the most.
Oh, my fucking God. So listen to this bullshit. Did you catch that? I mean, listen to, what is this guy? This is another one of these fucking guys hiding under his desk because he thinks a nuclear war is coming.
Pairs like that, because those are the pairs that the big banks manipulate the most. Yes.
The big banks manipulate the very liquid currencies. Don't trade those, because manipulation causes volatility, which makes your cash out of your trade or get stopped out. I mean, in other words, this is a completely ridiculous. No, we're trend traders. We kind of want to get in while it's a perfect situation. What the fuck? Dude, there's always, we don't know who's going to start coming. Just because you get into a trend trade, you're in. Now your ass is going to be manipulated. You have the chance to have your equity go up and down because the market starts to heat up for whatever reason. Whether it's banks, they're not manipulating the market. Well, a man is moving the market, right? Manipulation, in other words, it's just order imbalance, and people are taking the other side of the trade, and there's price vacuums that form over time. When the market doesn't move for a long time, it causes a natural void that needs to either be filled or not, but it's either going to fill to the up or the downside. As the market goes sideways, it can't go sideways forever. My tequila buddy, when I said to him, what you can count on is if you get into any trade that the market can't go sideways forever. So you're going to be proven right or wrong over time, and that's guaranteed. That's a guaranteed thing. What do you do about it? How many tickets are you running, and which unfair value are you going to get into? And how are you going to wait for the volume to dry up and get in? Or wait for the volume to confirm that the big boys are trading in a certain direction and then chase the market? I mean, there's only two fucking choices. Either you're chasing or you're not. If you're not chasing, then, in other words, if you're getting in when the market's going sideways, you're not chasing, but you're also saying, I know which way it's going to go. You don't have to, but I know which way it's going to go. If you wait for volume to spike up, then you're like, oh, dude, I'm like the last guy to the party. I hate that shit.
So no, that's absolutely not what I mean. And then when it came to volatility, I was like, you need volatility in the market as well. That's why volatility indicators are really important. But then they took that as, oh, well, I just need to go trade more volatile pairs now, like the pound kiwi or the dollar South African rand or crazy stuff like that.
Or the dinar to the curved banana.
And I'm like, no. Again, that's not what I'm talking about. So just to make things easier in the future,
thank God. I mean, how's stressing out?
Just refer to all of this, as volume. It's the core of these things anyway. And so I figured by just referring to everything as volume and volume indicators, I could kind of encompass everything.
Okay, I can't hang. I'm going to have to speed him up to fucking... But you get the way he speaks, you just blow your mind. So this guy talks so clear, I can take him up to double speed, and he'll be intelligible.
Into one. But looking back on it, what I should have done is just put them together. They are two different things by definition, but they both have a lot to do with each other, and they are both two things we really need in our market before we can really trade with confidence. So remember,
put them together. Look at this. What a fucking genius. I would have never thought of this shit.
Remember this going forward, traders. When you are searching for volume indicators, or if you're searching for volatility indicators, you want them to do the exact same thing. You want them to tell us, is there enough juice in
the search for some volatility indicators. I'm going to go get some more beer.
Market for trend traders to have a higher possibility of winning. That's what a good volume indicator will do. That's what a good volatility indicator will do. In the end,
and get a good one, would you? Get a good volatility indicator, would you, hon?
You only need one.
Oh, yeah, I called up to order something from this chick over in Pennsylvania. I'll tell you what, man. They think they're in New York. So the girl says to me, oh, I'll transfer you over there. And then they do, and then there's nobody there. I call back, and I go, aren't you guys open? We're here right now. What do you want, hon? She kept saying, hon. What do you want, hon? And I go, oh, my God. Really? Hon? Like, I don't even know you.
So search for both, but end up with your best one and plug it into your system. But this is good because
plug it in. Now
we've kind of opened things up a little bit. You can search for volume indicators. You can also search for volatility indicators as well. And
my wife's going to be busy.
I hope I was able to clear things up from before. If you still take issue with the way I define things or the way I connect the dots, there's really not a whole lot I can do for you at this point. We need to move on. Actually, you know what? I'll put it up to a vote. So traders, what would you like to do? Do you want to sit here and argue my definitions of things and the way I...
Bingo. You just nailed it. I don't even have to hear option B. Yes, I want to argue with you. You fucking got your head up your ass.
Say this relates to that, because we can do that. I got time. Or what do you think of this? Let's take what we do know and try to leverage that information into a bunch of pips and a bunch of money down the road. Does that sound good? Which one do you guys want? Oh, all of you?
Let's argue.
Option B? All right, well, good. So do I. Let's move forward. So talking about volume indicators, it's pretty precise, especially in the eyes of Google. The term volume indicators can be pretty vague overall, but Google will define them as an individual entity. If you were looking for...
In the eyes of Google. What happened to this motherfucker? Man, he drank the Kool-Aid.
Volume indicators, a very specific type of indicator is going to pop up. And for that...
Pop up. I'm getting pop-ups about indicators. Honey, you've been searching for indicators again?
Reason. I'm glad I only gave you this option. You needed to drill down into this category first. If I would have said you can look for volume indicators or volatility indicators at first, it may have been casting too wide of a net. I'm glad we drilled down into this one category. It helped.
I'm glad we drilled down. I was onto like volatility porn. I don't know. I fell down a rabbit hole. Sorry, hon.
Helps with people learning to trade this way for the very first time, to keep things very specific. And lo and behold, many of you have already found really...
Lo and behold.
Good examples of a true volume indicator. But whether you
Some of you, I'm not going to tell... It's funny that he puts it out there. Hey, kids, homework assignment, search for volatility indicators. Find one you like.
Or have not. Know that your search can now also include volatility indicators. Now, do not get confused. You do not need one of each. You can search for volume indicators and volatility indicators and pick the one out of both categories that does the best job. You're going to notice some things when you search for volatility indicators that you did not notice with volume indicators.
But how do I know which one does the best? I mean, is this one handles better on turns? That one's good on the straightaways?
Volatility indicators can be a bit easier to read. The ADX, for all of its faults, once you get rid of the riffraff, can be pretty darn easy to read. We saw this in the video I made last week. But at first, at least, before you really start getting technical with it, you're going to see...
Don't forget, his ATR is set at 14. Like right out of the fucking book. Who has an ATR of 14? Just look at each bar, you fucknut. Look at the true range of each bar you're looking at. Look at the weekly true range last week in the euro. Okay. But that doesn't, can't project. I mean, this is like the current volatility. What the fuck? Why do you need all these indicators?
Google give you the same examples of volatility indicators over and over again. You're going to see
Google.
The ADX, like we already saw. You're going to see Bollinger Bands because part of what Bollinger Bands do is show volatility. It just does not do a very good job of this. And look at here. You're going to see our old friend, the ATR.
Our old friend. Now look at this.
Is about 171 to 88. Let's just put a line, because we're just testing things out here. Let's put a line at let's see, where's this? 114. Let's put a line at 115. So, go ahead and tweak our settings a bit. We want to go to levels. And 115, as far as pips go, is 1.15.
He's going to tweak the settings a little bit for you.
Great. We have something we can now reference using the ATR, which is a classic volatility indicator. There's a problem with this, though. This might seem like a good line now, whether you agree with that or not. You might have it higher, you might have it lower.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the problem with it is. It looks like fucking RSI. Why doesn't he do this as a histogram? Now, this blows my mind. He's using a line for his ATR of 14. Dude, there's so much lag on that. Is this guy out of his fucking mind? And, of course, why doesn't he just try a simple breakout strategy? Because I guess he can't sell you, like, I don't know, selling you, maybe he sells indicators. He does claim that he's not going to give away any of his secrets. He's a prop trader. This is ridiculous shit.
Depending on what you want to do. For one, this line is going to have to be in a different place on every single currency pair you trade, which is a total pain in the ass. Two, markets change. Let's go back some and see what I'm talking about. So let's just go ahead and
what is he doing with this line? He never says.
That thing. Not really the way I want to go about it. And it's really hard to backtest this way. Backtesting should not take that long. It would take really long if you constantly had to move that bar up and down. So let's get to the reason why many of you are here. It is free tool time, y'all. We have something here that I don't know how I stumbled upon it. It's one of those things if you just have enough curiosity and you go find a bunch of shit that doesn't work, eventually you're going to find something that works out really, really well. Now, please understand, this is not a part of my algorithm. This is just a side tool that I check in on and use every day. You approach this however you want. You set your parameters on it wherever you want. I don't think I'm really ever going to mention this tool again because it is completely optional, and I want to keep things nice and clear, and I don't want to keep referring to things that you can choose to use or not use. So this is totally up to you. I have found it to be extremely helpful. So let me go show you what to do, and then I'll actually go do it myself and show you what it is. So this is what you need to do. Go to rchart.com, and in the search box, type in $EVZ.
Slow
the actual
down,
title
buddy.
in a while, even though it stares me in the face every day. I think it's the FX Euro VIX or something like that. Bookmark it so you'll always have it. Like I said, I refer to it before I even open my charts, just to see what's going on. And I'll tell you now, you can put your number wherever you want. My number is 8, and you will see what I mean. Let's go ahead and go to it now. So here we are at the barchart.com homepage, and you do not have to log in or sign up to get this
precisely.
tool. So
You need to have words like indicator. No, it needs to sound. It needs to sound complicated. People love it. There's nothing like it. I mean, it's very sophisticated. Yeah, I know this guy has such a scheme. He has a scheme, you know, like this is, I would say this is the ultimate retail trading kind of mentality, you know.
Here, and type in $EVZ, and just click right there. And it takes a minute to load.
Oh boy.
So you just have to give it time.
I don't think I can wait.
And once that little chart pops up.
Wait for it.
See what happens when you backlog your site with ads? It takes forever to load everything. Okay. Hit full chart. And this here is what you want to bookmark.
Okay.
So I will refer to this, and I will typically just look at this number right here and see if it's
What's
above
a
or below
bookmark?
8, which is the number that I set. So going down a little bit here, you see these huge spikes in volatility throughout the day. As is always the case, we want to wait until the candle actually closes. And so once we get that reading, it might not coincide with when you trade. That's fine. Just do your best and try to get a good idea if it's going to close above or below your line. And so my line's going to be right about there. And I just look like today. It was underneath. So what I will typically do is not put quite as much risk on a trade, because from a very macro sense, the market is telling me that the volatility and the volume just isn't quite there today. And you might have to adjust this line over time. It used to be 8.5 for me. And then as a lot of you know, as soon as the stock market started getting really good and started ticking up very slowly to record highs, our market dried up a lot. So it was either me never take a full trade or move that line down a bit. But this has helped me quite a bit, because I know when these bars are under that 8, the chances of me winning a trade go down. And that's really helpful information to me. Now, yes, this is true. So at least since June 11th up until now, over half the time, I was not able to put a full 2% trade on. But that's okay. It's all about the big picture.
Wow, he needs more filters. So too many filters. I look at it like this. What would that possibly have to do? It would have a lot to do if you trade one ticket, because how could you survive? I mean, you're going to filter yourself down to like, yeah, I like this pattern, but let me take a look at the volatility. No, you know, I can't trade today. Let's trade really small on this one trade. As if you think that trade, and he probably back tested this, because you know what this has to do with? How tight his stop is. He's saying, I run a stop of X. And maybe it's a percentage of account, like a fucking idiot. He's got his equity calibrated to his fucking percentage of risk, when it doesn't make any sense structurally or volatility-wise to put that trade on the way he does. But he's saying, oh yeah, I back-tested it, and that's why I'm getting better. If I put it, I had to reduce my size because, yeah, the market's swinging around, and I run a tight stop. Okay, well, but fucking dude, I mean, this is ridiculous.
And during that time, it didn't drop super low. I've seen this go all the way down to crazy low territories where I just stopped trading altogether, which was good. I was taking a bunch of losses, so it turned out okay. But overall, I will drop from maybe a 2% risk down to a 1.5, 1.75% risk just to mitigate my losses better. Again, use this tool however you want, but it is helpful.
Why are you losing? Oh, no, I know you can't win every trade, but why are you losing? Okay, 4 o'clock just came.
Me a lot, and it is something I refer to every single day. And it doesn't take long. I just check on that number, see where it is.
It doesn't take long. I got to bookmark it and go to that fucking thing. I mean, I want to be sitting there fucking looking at the thing I'm trading. I could be scalping right now. I'm going to go look at this shit when I got the fucking charts up and I got money in my account? Are you fucking nuts?
Going forward. Real simple. But like I said before,
you have to plan this stuff out. You don't understand, man. You're just in too big a hurry.
These are not hard rules. You can choose to use this or not. You can put that line where you want, and you can do what you want with it.
I'll tell you what to do with this. Fucking delete the goddamn bookmark and to tell you I'm sue you for fucking hurting my brain with your fucking nonsense.
This is something VP is telling you to do with actual rules and numbers attached. This is just a tool that I've given other traders in the past, and even they still use it today.
Wow, free
You're trying
tool.
to incorporate it in
I hope you all have fucking recovered from the free tool here.
Confusion, just get rid of it.
Fuck, I was going to fucking die from the excitement. It's like a big letdown. The adrenaline's just fucking fading out of my adrenal glands. It left me all fucking, like, all what's rode hard, put away wet after this fucking free tool.
To not be confused than it is to actually have something like this around. Wait until you've perfected your system and you've gotten used to it before you add something like this on. So to wrap this all up, volume...
Before you get used to your system and then put another filter on it? Oh, fuck me.
volatility indicators are in the same group. Now, you can now start searching for volatility indicators as well. Take whichever ones work out the best and plug that one indicator into your system from this point forward. And you can use that tool if it helps. It is more of an advanced tool. If it's causing any kind of confusion in any way, get rid of it. We don't want to complicate.
Oh, wow, yeah, it's my head's spinning.
Things here. But I still get traders from years ago telling me how much it has helped them in their overall trading. It doesn't look like much on the surface, but it really has helped me in my trading a lot in the last few years. And always keep improving on this. Never stop. You don't have the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is always out there. I say that all the time. If you have something you really like and you want to forward test it, by all means do that. But in the background, always be testing other versions to see if you can come up with something better. This goes for your confirmation indicator. This also goes for your volume indicator.
No, he's right about that. He's finally making sense.
And if you haven't done so, I'm sure most of you have, because most of you are my diehards, and these past few videos were for you. But I much rather, if I had the choice, make videos that help everybody. And so we're going to start getting back to that. But if any of you guys have not, subscribe, hit the bell. Videos like this where we really drill down into certain topics are very necessary, because I want to leave no stone unturned going forward. But there's still so
you have not. I feel thoroughly fucked. Anyways, this guy's just too much. It's just beyond. You can't blow your brains. I lasted like, I watched the whole thing at slow speed, so. Maybe I'm too critical. But yeah, so it's going to be, oh God, this fucker's recovered already. I missed that fucking scalp. You fuckers. Yeah, that was just ripe for the pickings. I wish I would have put my orders in here, or maybe I did and I didn't make them last long enough, so that's definitely another reason why I could have. Definitely, this was an entry, and I definitely saw this low, so I would start buying heavy there, and I'd be almost to break even here, and this is the bottom becoming a top there, and the 1 hour swing scalp, I'd call it. I really think that this is swing retracement scalping. I think it's what I'd call it. You're buying here. There was the scalpers got out early there. It looks like. But this is a no-brainer for the next 2 hours, even though the market's not gonna. It's only open for another hour. So I used to do this before the weekend. I'd be like, "Oh, come and get me, bitch!" I'd put in these 15-minute scripts and be like, "Oh, come on, you got like 1 hour. Come on, fill me." Let's see. And sometimes they smash it down here, and it retraces. I don't know if you've ever been in that trade, but you're like, "Come on, fill me, man." Dare the market to, oh, this is going up. So we missed this trend buy on the 30-minute because it's making fun of that fucking no nonsense Forex guy. Here's your top bottom on the half hour in the cloud. Euro dollar with all these big boys manipulating it. It's got such great liquidity. You can see all the big boys fighting over price. There's your bottom become a top. Failure in golf. Of course, I'd be the guy throwing limits in, which I do all the time. All day long, I'm throwing limits in. Buy limits typically because, like I said, the sell side, which these are sells though. So I could sell here into the close. I'm giving the market 1 hour to climax into this. Of course, the ultimate target for the big boys, the guys that started buying this new low here, obviously their exit's going to be up here at the top. That should be painfully obvious. You don't need an indicator. I do have this 4-period cloud, but obviously this is going to be the big exit, and this will be the conservative exit. We have one last trend trade, kind of creeping up. Here's the top become a bottom. It's so perfect on the 30-minute. The 15's a little choppy. The 1 hour's really nice and clean, but you're not going to get that extra half step fractal. You're not going to get that in between beats. So you can't really see the structure so good or so well. Now, if you listen to my other videos, you'd understand that. Okay, so this is the big, the greedier exit. But look at this top bottom thing. And then it becomes that in the cloud. It sells off hard, so you get that more oversold at a higher price. And I would say you're probably getting an RSI positive reversal there. If I put up a 3-paired RSI in here. And if you took the filters, speaking of filters, like if you use the cloud in the RSI, you'd probably be able to filter. So you would take your trade. If you're over trading it, then you probably do want filters. Like if I put RSI 3 period on here, and I look for these setups in the cloud, and I only take reversals in the cloud, then I can see it. 3 period RSI. So here is the buy signal in RSI with the cloud confirming. In other words, only take in the direction of the cloud reversals. So this is what it looks like. You compare this price to this price. You got a top becoming a bottom, and you're more oversold at a higher price. So anytime the market starts to come below here, you're going to buy. Because as soon as it gets below this, then it automatically confirms that pattern. Now here is another reversal. And these are usually 2 to 5 period, and I'm counting this as 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More oversold, higher price. And this is the sell. More overbought, lower price in the cloud. When it's doing this shit, you got to be on the 4-hour chart. But then you have problems with the RSI not being. Now, look at this. Moreover, this is the first sell. More overbought at a lower price. So this is like the momentum vacuum. You get this huge rally, very bullish on the indicator because this RSI is so sensitive at 3 periods. So that's what you're looking for, is that kind of thing. Now, here's your double bottom divergence giving you this dead cat bounce. But if you look real closely, you'll see that this is more overbought than this. Now, this is not the 2 to 5 period, but this is the first inversion. And then this is a very faint inversion. If I stretch it out, you can see it. You take the RSI and give it almost half the screen to get the dimension out that. And I just kind of zoom out a little bit here because otherwise the price is a little bit. So here's how RSI works. I couldn't handle doing it the other night because it's very tedious. But if you look real close, now this looks like a great, when I condense it, it looks so much more dramatic. You can see this sharp inversion. And this one's very faint here, just before it tanks, but there's a sell. More overbought, lower price, right? These are sells. So the RSI, now there is no divergence here, and the thing rips pretty hard up there. It really comes ripping back, but you still be a structured trader where you bought all these new lows. They rip it back to the floor, you get out. Here is a trend entry. More oversold, higher price in the cloud. You bought at the market on the clock here. You sold at the market on the clock there on the half hour. It didn't keep going to hell because at some point, you know, this cloud's maybe good for 2 price pulses. One, maybe. One flag, one sell here. Second sell, one sell here, and then it's over. And this is drifty here. This is like a drift thing. Trying to creep back to the floor it took out on the euro. And then of course, if the sellers do come in here for a little bit, it's going to be interesting. The 1 hour chart is not going to give you. The 1 hour chart is not going to give you as many signals, but they're going to be better signals. So we got the 1 hour chart, and I don't see, here's a divergence in the 1 hour that caused quite an explosion in price. it's actually almost a hidden, it's almost a compressed hidden divergence. Plus you have a top become a bottom here, and then it just doesn't do too well. And this is another reason why this becomes a sell point from here, because since RSI overreacted to this little rally, it's a sell. It's a little bit of a trap there, but then here comes the trend, the 4-hour period cloud. Here's the floor that we would buy in limits, just good old-fashioned anyways. And I don't really see, I guess this is the trend trade, a long-legged, more oversold, higher price than there, but it really doesn't go well for that. Here is, so you can make the argument for the buys and the sells. Here you just got one pullback. A killer triple divergence here in RSI, just super compressed. Here is the sell just before the buy, so you get this reversal. That's the last one, and it starts to go reversal. I could also say that if you're going to do like selling new highs, you're selling the new highs in RSI there. Or you could just say, I sell everything above 70, but it's how you get in. If it goes above 70, you start running sell stops. Then when it comes back, it's confirming, hey, maybe it's exhausted. It's a lot to deal with. But that's how I came up with the idea of the line chart, is looking at RSI, because RSI is based on close. And I thought, well, I can see divergence a lot cleaner if I'm not looking at bars and candles, because I can see actually how RSI is coming up with the math to make this line. And the 3 period is just super sensitive. So you get nice, I can compress this down and get almost a balanced view. Now the 4-hour chart, like I said, is not going to have very good, although it does give you some amazing reversals in momentum, where it's like the thing is just run out of momentum in the downtrend. So you have this kind of relationship where you get these way more overbought here and slightly lower price. Then you can make the argument for a top becoming a bottom in RSI. Top becomes a bottom in price confluence, they call it. You can draw a trend line on RSI, waiting for it to break. It'll break the trend line on RSI. Well, here I actually broke it in price first. But you see, you get a top become a bottom in RSI, where you don't get that in price. Right? It's already past that point. You could draw channels on here. It also, so you have this divergence here. Now, this is a divergence that really kicks in. So when you see divergence, you got to be looking for the reversal. I think it's another reason why it's really hard to make money trading, because here's a double bottom divergence in the 4-hour chart. Huge explosion out of that. And then another divergence here. Then it pulls back so deep that technically this is a reversal. It's more oversold, higher price, buyers come in. Not quite here. This to this doesn't really match up. And that's the problem with the 4-hour chart, because some other broker might have a perfect fucking view of that. On a daily chart, you're really going to undertrade it. If you're a scalper, you're going to be, if you're waiting for a signal in the daily, you're just going to wait forever. Yeah, so, yeah, I just don't get why the guys that trade that stuff don't, Robinacci. Yeah, Robinacci just changed my world. I mean, that guy's authentic. I mean, there's people that do that for a gag, but I think this is a very authentic approach. And the fact that he thought to, I should have simple Nachi, simple Nachi. Fibonacci for simpletons. Fibonacci for dummies. I think there's a book like that. So I'm looking for a Where's Waldo here. So this is another thing where it's on a daily, you're more oversold at this point, slightly higher price, and it's a little bit choppy there. But this is the ultimate, to me, the ultimate signal in RSI is to have a reversal and divergence. Divergence in an uptrend. So if you think this is in an uptrend here, and then you get this almost divergence here as it squashes down in. Wow. And of course, not a lot of, I don't see a lot of patterns out here. Oh, here's one. So as soon as we come above this line, I would start selling, because if you're going to make this assumption that this price is important, you're looking for it to be more overbought, but at a lower price than this. So as this comes up, here's one sell, and here's the next sell, and kablamo, because this is the momentum backdraft inversion, negative reversal is what Andrew Cardwell calls it, and Constance Brown calls it that. But over in Empowered Trading, what they call this is a like an anti-divergence or something. They have another name for it. Call it what you will. But that relationship there is a big deal. And when they start to fail, which this it's a triple top with the hint of a reversal where it's more about lower price, and it's like, uh-oh, that's the daily. We've already had, boy, this is such a wicked market right now. I mean, so it's so choppy. So you're really just doing the overbought, oversold. And this another thing, when the market goes choppy, 80% of it's chop. So why can't you just build a range bot, overbought, oversold? And if you ever had a trade where you bought when it was oversold and you're like, damn, this works. And if you ran a filter and said, well, I'll only buy if it's anything below 30, I'm pulling the buy trigger.